Hello, everyone, and blessed be. I thought I would just do a chat about crystals, rocks, stones, etc. And this is not a video on how to identify certain ones or what the properties of any of these are. Also, like I always say, the opinions in this video are completely my own based on my own path. And sorry to repeat that, but I never know when this is going to be somebody's first video, so I just like to say that so that people kind of understand what angle I'm going at with the videos. And I am not here to say one stone is better than the other, or that crystals are better than rocks, or one crystal is better than the other. Actually, I'm here to say the exact opposite. Um, and the reason I decided to make this video is it stemmed from a comment I saw in a Facebook group where somebody was asking opinions on getting, excuse me, a certain kind of a crystal set. And some of the comments were, no, don't buy online. You need to go where you can actually touch the crystal and stones and connect with the energy. And while I understand that, it's not something I personally follow. And I threw my opinion kind of in there on it just for a different take. I think it's very important for people to get different opinions so that they can read through them or listen to them and see what resonates with them. I think it would be very sad to have the same thing on your plate every day. And sometimes you just don't know what you're missing until you go to a buffet, I guess you could say. So, anyhow, I did go through a phase where I bought a lot of crystals. Not expensive ones. My budget doesn't allow that. But I was very intrigued. And if I read something about a certain kind of crystal, I became very intrigued. And I did pay attention to ones I lost interest in very quickly, but I did buy a lot of crystals for a period of time. Then I kind of shifted, my personal path changed a little bit to where, not seeing any crystals in particular, I just couldn't stop thinking about, I'm going to make an example, a blue stone. And it seemed very specific in my mind, so I went on a mad, crazed hunt on the internet to try to find the stone. And a couple of times when I found the stone, it ended up being extremely expensive and far outside of my reach. But rather than go, oh, great, I'm never going to have that, what I did is I looked at a bunch of pictures of the stone. I didn't look up the magical properties, but I just looked at the pictures of the stones and tried to use it as how would you say? I guess as a teaching experience for myself. What kind of energies, what kind of emotions was I having, and see if there was something that the stone was trying to tell me without having to be purchased, I guess. I hope that makes sense. Because it just was literally outside of my financial reach. So I had to believe that there was another reason I was drawn to the stone, and not that I would magically win the lotto and all of a sudden be able to afford it. Because I think the universe knows, I think our gut knows, and it was showing me the stones not because I financially had to have something changed, and not because I had to sell everything I owned to get the stone. There was something about it that it was a learning experience for me. And that was hard at first. I'm not going to lie. You know, it was kind of devastating to see the cost of a teeny tiny little chip of stone cost $2,000. But I had to realize, I was drawn to this for a reason. I need to stop being upset and feeling like, why would you show me something that I cannot easily obtain? And I had to tell myself, they are showing me something I can easily obtain. I'm just looking at it wrong. So that was a huge personal growth for me. But anyhow, I'm rambling on. And I put these 3 examples here, just randomly picked. This is blue celestite, gorgeous, beautiful. Got this one on eBay, and it showed the exact picture of the exact stone. And I'm going to explain the 3, and then I'll talk a little bit more. This is one of the stones I found outside, and there's no way the lighting is ever going to do justice to this. It's almost like a blue-gray with all those beautiful swirls in it. I just love this stone. And then we have this one. I think we've all seen these online. And they're usually sold as some kind of crystal. This one says it was citrine. Cough, cough. But I knew it. I knew it wasn't. However, I was looking up citrine. This popped up, of course. It was like $2 or $3. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a chance in the universe that I got that lucky, but, I didn't go into it blind, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And my thought is on buying online, I think it's perfectly fine. Go in knowing. Like I said, this one showed the exact picture of the exact stone, and they had like 18 pictures of every single possible angle known to man. And some people will tell you, if you're going to buy online, only buy if they show the exact stone. If you feel you need to do that, that's totally fine. I, however, truly feel that there are situations where even if it's a real stone and they're not showing you the exact stone, I feel that when I am so pulled to a certain type of stone or a certain posting or listing on the internet for a certain type of stone, and it's, within my financial ability to get, that it's not so much the exact stone in the picture, because unless it's stone specific, they're going to show you a really beautiful one, that I am going to be sent the exact stone, crystal, rock, whatever you want to call it, that I was meant to have. And it's kind of exciting to see what comes. And I think that's totally fine. And in fact, I enjoy doing that at times. Not knowing the type, but not knowing the exact one I'm going to get, and seeing what the universe makes sure I do get. It can be pretty awesome. Again, if you think that you can get a really expensive crystal for $2, do your research. Don't be disappointed. I love this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's glass. I don't know if it's clear quartz that they tried to jazz up to look like citrine. I don't know. But I don't care. I love actually spending time with this, and I actually am working on scrying with it. So there was a purpose for it. This is another stone that I got that showed the exact stone. So this was a listing for this exact stone. It's quartz and tourmaline, black tourmaline. And let's see. And it's gorgeous. And to me, it looked like a wing, and I'm not sure if I can put it in the right. Oh, it's chipping. Gotta be careful. A balance, light and dark. That's what this whole stone screamed to me. And it was on auction, and I had a certain dollar amount that I was not going to go past, and I got it for way less than what my maximum was. So there's that. Um, and then there's things. So the whole point of this is follow your gut. Like I said, some people will say, oh my gosh, you got a fake one. This will never do anything. I don't believe that. I will never believe that. I believe you can have two genuine crystals, the exact same type. You're going to get completely different energy from them. I believe um, every object and everything has energy to it, man-made, natural, whatever. And I feel that's different, and our own energy connects differently with that. Just like if you put the same perfume on 13 different people, it will smell 13 different ways. It's just our chemistry. It's our energy mixing with its energy. So my whole point is that don't limit yourself. Give it a try. This outside rock that I use a lot, this is another outside rock. When I found outside, oh my gosh, my hand's shaking. This incredible little rock has such amazing energy, and I've done a lot of amazing work with it. And literally my hand's shaking just holding it. I have picked up some real stones or real crystals in some people's opinion, and not got a tenth of the energy reaction that I did from this that was outside. This, I don't know, clear quartz, man-made, whatever. I get amazing energy, not the same as this, but this gives me even more than these do. So again, what I'm trying to say is don't limit yourself. If you feel pulled, or if you have a vision, or if you have a dream about a rock of a certain color or a certain texture, go looking for it. Go on the internet, go looking for it. Sometimes it's the whole process of looking and seeking that has the lesson in it. Sometimes it's finding it like I did and having it be purposely so extremely expensive that I can't afford it, that my focus shifts, not from obtaining that actual crystal, but to the lesson that I am supposed to find within that search, if that makes sense. Another, this was on eBay, and I can't even remember what it was sold as. Can't remember if it was sold as smoky or citrine. And it had the exact stone on it, and it was super cheap, There go your red flags, right? But I will put things in my watch on eBay or something like that. And if I can't stop thinking about it, I try to go through the process of why am I thinking about it. I'll look at other listings for the same stone to try to see if it's the stone or the crystal or the rock in general, if it was that specific listing, or if it's something in between that I'm supposed to be paying attention to. I know there are tons and tons of lists on the magical properties of stones and crystals. I get that. Somebody had told me that there was supposedly one person who channeled, and I don't know who they channeled or what they channeled, if they channeled Gaia or a specific deity, and came up with all of the properties of every crystal. I can't find that online, so I don't know if it's true. I just kind of heard that somewhere. Regardless, I mean, there are scientific properties of these that can be measured. We know that quartz goes into a lot of devices. However, past that, onto the magical, again, kind of like herbs, medicinal versus magical. I don't feel there's a way to create a description that says what the magical energy of a specific crystal will be for you. Now, I do think it's great to, and it sounds contradictory, but I do think it's great to look up those lists. Or if you're looking for a stone for self-love, I think it's great to Google that. In fact, I encourage it. But I hope you're going to find more than rose quartz. And if you are looking up a stone for self-love, example, and you find nothing but rose quartz and you're like, really? That I'm looking at these stones, I'm not feeling it. Then I hope you expand and start looking at other stones until you find one that does give you that vibe. So that's my say. This is another rock from outside. I've been told it's probably some type of jasper. I don't know. But I love this, and I use this for certain types of energy work. I got these guys. I think it's soapstone. I think these little stone animal carvings are usually soapstone unless they say there's something else. But, right? Oh my god. They're so stinking cute. I can't even stand it. They're little tarantulas. And I found them online. And I was like, oh yeah, right. I'm not a fan of big spiders, but couldn't stop thinking about these guys. And I probably waited 2 weeks. And I, again, couldn't stop thinking about it. Told myself, don't even go back and look. And when I went back in there, these three, or they said there was only 3 left. I know eBay will say that, and then, 3 days later, there's 150 left. But I bought them. There's that. I also have this jar of stones that I've collected outside, or have collected me. And each one just has its own energy, its own unique energy. This is not less than this or this. It's just different and can be just as powerful. There can also be a very expensive crystal that I'm not drawn to at all. I feel nothing, get nothing. And the same can be said of something that's probably really not what they say it is, or something that is. It's so unique, and that's what I'm trying to say. You don't need a collection of every crystal on the Reiki list, or chakras, or anything like that. You just don't. Now, if you go through the process and those things are really pulled to you outside of what you think that they are used for, go for it. I have a collection of crystals that is probably just a drop in the bucket to some and absurd to others. But I went through a buying phase for me, but also because I felt so compelled to have on hand things that other people might need. It drove me crazy. I couldn't have just one of something. I had to have 4, or I had to have the chips. And it was like a very almost mothering anxiety. I had to have it because somebody was going to need it, and I had to make sure I had it for them. On 3 occasions, those stones have found their homes already, in pretty amazing situations. But, there was a time I just got a little bit crazy. Our path is always moving forward. A path doesn't have 2 footprints underneath your feet that never move. A path has branches. It'll go left, it'll go right, it might loop back around, it might do a U-turn, but it should always move, right? So one of my favorite stones, black tourmaline. This one's a pretty big piece. I have very small tiny chips that I put in things. I have tourmaline of different shapes and sizes, because that's a stone that I was very, very, very pulled to for a long time, and it's still one of my all-time favorite stones. This is an amber that actually somebody gifted me. It's not pretty, it doesn't have any animal in there. It's just the stone, and I can sit and look through it and just be absolutely mesmerized by it. With that said, I'm going to move some of these out of the way. I'm going to show you my big guy. Let me get these all out of the way, sorry. And again, like I said, part of this is just sharing some of the things I have, and then part of it is just talking about them in general. But this is a smoky quartz. This thing is huge. It's absolutely beautiful. This was gifted to me. I did not buy this. It was gifted to me. And people have different ways of charging and cleansing stones, rocks, crystals. Some say, and here's where I have my problem, is some say you have to charge it in the moonlight, or you have to charge it on a full moon. I don't agree. I watched a YouTube video of a lady, and I cannot remember her name, that talked about clearing and resetting stones versus cleansing them or charging them. And her take on it is that each stone, each rock, each crystal, whatever you want to call them, has their own unique energy signature and vibration. I'm summing up because it was a while ago, so I can't quite remember. So I'm not trying to plagiarize. I'm just, coming up with a summary. And she used sound to reset them. So basically, it's like they have been used in workings, or they've consumed energy. Not so much consuming energy, because it doesn't go in there and change the actual properties of the stone. It just kind of mucks up over time. And she used her voice. You can use a silver tuner, you can use a singing bowl, you can use your voice, you can use bells, you can do whatever. But the point was to break up all that muck on them and reset their properties or their energy, kind of like taking a bath. So there are many ways to do it. I think it's great to go out and get other opinions. In fact, I encourage people to go out and get other opinions, watch other YouTube videos, read other articles, get a lot of different opinions rather than just sticking to one opinion until you find the pieces that fit with you. Even then, keep an open mind and listen to other opinions. It is okay for your path to change. That doesn't mean that you were on the wrong path. It means you were on the exact right path at that time. And that's why I wanted to do this video. Is just to show real, fake, expensive, cheap, probably not real. Don't get scammed. Please don't get scammed. I know there are a lot of sellers out there that are very questionable, that will say they're selling one thing and they're not really selling something. That makes me angry. You try to take people's hard-earned money by flat out lying, I'm going to be upset. However, buyer beware and all that. But if you get something like this and it's $3, don't expect it to be some high-end thing. And if you want something that's really high-end, that's really expensive, then you need to decide for yourself whether you're really supposed to have that actual stone, or whether there's a lesson in there that lies somewhere else. But I am going to kind of, I'm not really shaming myself, but going to show you, let's see, this case that I got. I was going to use it as a witchy case to take when I do, home cleansings or blessings or kind of the boots on ground kind of thing. However, it turned out not to be practical for that purpose, as beautiful as it was. I can't swear, I don't think I got it at Michael's, but it was a place like that where you have a 50% off coupon. But the problem with this is, as soon as it gets too heavy, I don't know if you can see this moving, as soon as it gets too heavy, this will just pop right off. These have snaps, but it just isn't steady enough with any substantial weight in it. So I do have a lot of my stones, crystals in here. Have a random corn dolly that I made. And those are magic coins, but like I said, this is from when I was in a stage of having to collect. And I give a lot away. And I seem to come across the owners of these stones in very moving ways. And sometimes in the mornings or when I'm going out for the day, I'll reach in here or go through one of my shelves, and for some reason I'm pulled to grab a certain stone or rock. And sometimes, a couple of times, they've been ones that I thought were very dear to me, but something inside me said, don't leave without it. And I took it, and what I say is the true owner showed up. I don't know that you can own a stone, but you know what I mean. The person it was truly meant for showed up. And the first time that happened, I kind of got a little, that's not fair. I wanted that. I paid for that on that particular one. But I knew with every ounce of my being that it was the right thing and that it was meant to go with that person. And that person felt it as well. It was pretty amazing once I got over that whole pity party that I had for myself. That's reality. We're not all perfect. So anyhow, I think I'm done rambling. I just wanted to show that, and I just wanted to talk about that. Again, I know a lot of new witches feel that they have to have a certain stone. My angelite, I use this actually quite a bit right now. And feel that they can't. Here's my thing again too, that they can't do something unless they have a certain kind of stone. And the only time I say that is ever true is back to my example I use all the time. You cannot make amethyst oil unless you have amethyst. It's not going to happen. I mean, I guess you could pretend, but it's not amethyst oil. But you can find out the reason that you feel pulled to make amethyst oil, and you can use what you have on hand. Because depending on where you live, this is another example I use all the time, these stones are not local to you. Some may be. This is obviously local. I found it right outside, as are these two. You can look up where they came from. I mean, lots of places have quartz. Here we have a lot of jasper and agate and milky quartz, I think, the white kind. But there are stones that I have that no way in the world are they from around here. I guess maybe if you dug deep enough, I don't know. But like this jade, again gifted to me, is from Japan. It was dug up in Japan. It's not local to me. Our ancestors had to use what was local to them. I understand there were trades, there were people who came in and sold certain things, and I understand that we evolve and we start using what is accessible to us versus just what is right outside our front door. And I have been talking for a really long time, but the point is, follow your gut, follow your instinct. If somebody tells you that you have to have certain 7 stones for the chakras, or you cannot work with your chakras, period, end of story. You cannot do it. I call BS. However, if it is a certain ritual, certain ceremony, and that ritual or ceremony calls for very specific things, that's very different to me. Then I think that you need to follow them step by step, or you're not doing that ceremony, you're not doing that ritual, you're doing a version of it, and that's okay. But if you want to do something specific, you have to be specific. If you want amethyst oil, you're going to have amethyst. You can't do amethyst oil with a stone. It's not amethyst. So anyhow, there you go. There's my rambling. Sorry about it, guys. Have a great day and blessed be.